Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together and to co-create together, yes? To take thought beyond that which it has ever been before, yes? You are knowing what you are wanting. Are you enjoying your expansion of your own desire? Mostly. Are you sometimes feeling the gap between something that you have clearly identified as a desire and where you stand in relationship to it? That's really the key. It's managing that vibrational gap. It's understanding that the gap is normal and that it's all right, and that to some extent it will always be there, because you will always be in the state of becoming. So there will always be something more that life has helped you to identify, that your physical see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it world has not quite caught up with yet. So when you accept that there will always be that gap, and that it's a normal process of a becoming being like you, and that in fact you came from non-physical into this physical body, knowing that the variety and contrast would inspire you not to just some desire, but continual new desire, because you are an expanding being, and an environment that is conducive to you desiring something more is such a wonderful thing, because in that new desire there's new energy that flows. But when the new energy flows, because you and your life have identified a new avenue for which it to flow, you just pointed it right out. Sometimes by knowing what you don't want, you knew so clearly what you do want, and source energy, who is within you, in the moment that you identify it, begins to flow energy toward it. It's just the way that it is. But let us say it to you in the most law-based, accurate way. It isn't that source or your inner being, who are one and the same. Your inner being is part of that source. It isn't that source flows the energy toward it in a sort of assertive way. It isn't that way, because we all exist in a universe of attraction. It's that through your life experience here in this body, just like you knew you would, you identified a desire, you identified another point of attraction of that which you would like to attract. And since your inner being is a part of you, the biggest part of you, when you did what you were born to do and you identified new desire and launched your vibrational rocket of desire, your inner being, who is you, stood in that place of attraction and just turned up the juice. Does that make sense to you? In other words, when you desire something, your inner being desires something. That's what expansion is. So you were first to discover it, but your inner being was right there with you, acknowledging your discovery and focusing so completely on this new desire, no matter what it was, no matter what it is, on that new desire, that your inner being then established on your behalf, on your behalf, a powerful new point of attraction. Do you get it, that you are here in these physical bodies, but you are an extension of source energy? That you were non-physical before you came here, and that only a part of you is here in this body, that the larger part of you, your inner being part of you, your soul part of you, remains non-physically focused, but still aware of you and everything about you. So when life causes you to acknowledge, I don't want this, therefore I do want this, or this would be better, that evolutionary stance that you constantly take, when you discover it, your inner being knows it and assumes the vibrational law of attraction, point of attraction, position of your desire. That has never been sent better in all of the universe. And so as your inner being becomes that point of your attraction, are you hearing that? That point of your attraction, when you want something, your inner being desires it too. Your inner being becomes the point of attraction for it too. Have you heard us say one who's connected to that non-physical is more powerful than a million who are not? When your inner being gets hold of something that you want and focuses upon it, you know why it's so powerful? Because your inner being never focuses with split energy upon your desire. Your inner being only focuses upon what you want. There's no doubt, there's no unqualified or not ready, there's no downside, there's no negative side to it. There's just, you ask for it, and your inner being, who is you, is now asking for it on your behalf with no resistance whatsoever. Do you understand how powerful that is? So then you got to be asking, well then where is it? If all of this source energy believes in me, took me at my vibrational word, stands with me and attracts it, then why hasn't it manifested in my experience? And we say, because you, unlike your inner being, offer contradictory thought about it all the time. I want it, but is a lot like what you are. I want it, but I don't have time. I want it, but I've never done anything like that. I might not be worthy. I don't like myself very much, or I don't like anybody else very much. You've picked up thoughts along your physical trail relative to you and your creation and others that are beliefs that you hold that are in the way of you letting in what you and your inner being are asking for. So when you ask for something, and therefore your inner being asks for something, and so law of attraction is answering it, the vibrational momentum has begun, the current is flowing, it's on its way to you, but you're stuck in the beating the drum of those comments, like acknowledging the manifestation as it is. That would be like planting a seed in your garden or in your farmer's field, a seed of something, and then standing there and talking smack about it. You're probably not going to be a good crop this year. It's probably not going to rain enough. You're probably going to die right there in the ground. I honestly don't know why I even bothered to put you there. You've disappointed me so far. I see nothing from you. Come on, give me a little manifestation. Make me believe in you. Make me believe in you. Make me believe in you. But you understand that there is a gestation period. You understand that there is a process, that there is a state of becoming relative to that. And the seeds that are in your vibrational reality, in your vortex, that vibrational asking is like that too. It is in the state of becoming. And if you don't let it become in its vibrational state, if you keep blocking it at every thought turn, if because you're so enamored with what is as what is, and you can't get your eyes or your comments or your attention off of what currently is, then what is cannot become different for you. Oh, it will continue to change because things are always changing, but it just keeps changing to more of the same. Different faces, different places, but not much changes in your experience because of your own smack talk. That's all it is. Of your own talking and thinking against yourself for no good reason other than that you have a habit of it that you've picked up along your physical trail. But you know, that habit, even though we understand how it happens, you observe others doing it, it sort of feels natural to do it. When you want something, then that's all right. And when you really want it and it hasn't manifested yet, we understand why you would feel some dissatisfaction or some disappointment, because you want the things you want and you want them to come faster. You want them now, but you got to give them a chance. You've got to let them be. And if you just would not talk against them, you know, you could launch a rocket of desire and not think about it, and your inner being would carry the whole load of attraction. And if you could stay in the receiving mode, you'd get thoughts and impulses all day long that would lead you into more and more and more awareness of the unfolding of what you want, so that you're constantly surprised and delighted along the way as the evolution of you and your desire are in the state of becoming. And that's really what we want to talk about. We want to talk with you about your guidance system. We want you to understand that your emotions, well, let's start at the beginning really quickly. You know this, but we're going to set it up here for you just so that we can move from the momentum of what you already understand. You are more than you see in these physical bodies. You are so much more. You are so much longer and older in creative history than you have any way of knowing, because you are focused in this now, which is just the way we all know is best for all of us. So here you are, focused in the now, not remembering the whole of who you are with your thoughts, not having flashbacks about all that you've learned or all that you've become or all that you've even created or all that you have in the creative pipeline that is still to come. You're here in your now, focusing and observing and offering a vibrational frequency, which we want to call your point of attraction. And as we just said, while you're here doing that in your physical body, your inner being is in this non-physical vibrational reality doing the same thing. Only your inner being is doing it so much better than you are, because your inner being doesn't flip-flop. Your inner being doesn't desire and doubt. Your inner being just knows and believes and knows and believes. Your inner being only focuses upon the becoming of that which you have set into motion. So step one of the creative process is you out here on the leading edge. You ask, you brilliant, willing participants in this leading edge environment, you expose yourself to contrast and you ask step one. And when you ask, step two happens. Your inner being joins you in the asking, and we want you to know that what that means is it's done, because what your inner being becomes part of the equation, there is a vibrational reality that is exactly what you have asked for. Not only that, everything you ask for is completely blended and dovetailed with everything else that you've asked for, so that your state of becoming is perfection in ways that we cannot offer a vibration succinct enough that Esther can find the perfect word for it. In other words, there is perfection in your vibrational reality. But you as humans don't usually believe in your vibrational reality. You usually only believe in what you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch. And so even though this seed is in the ground, you're talking smack about it because it hasn't gestated and come right out where you can see it instantaneously, but only because you don't believe it can. Only because you are so accustomed to looking at what is relative to your finances or relative to your body or relative to your relationships or relative to your empires or relative to whatever it is. You keep focusing upon what is mostly, while your inner being continues to focus upon what really is in this vibrational state as it is evolving. So step one, you ask. Step two, it's done. It is answered. Step three is you in your physical body have to find a way into the receiving mode, into the receptive mode. You've got to find a way to be vibrationally open to receiving what your inner being is offering to you about it, because your inner being knows who you are. Your inner being knows what you've asked for. Your inner being knows who you have vibrationally become because of your beautiful life experience. And your inner being knows, and this is the part we really want you to hear, your inner being knows where you in your human personality, body form, stand in relationship to everything that you want. Your inner being knows how resistant or ready you are. So your inner being is offering you continual impulses and inclinations and blocks of thought to help you experience the joyous journey of being a witness to the unfolding of what you have created. It's such a beautiful thing. If you can just hear this, that all you got to do is get into the receiving mode. So over time, we've explained to you that there is this law of attraction, blah, blah, blah. You know about that. You're almost tired of hearing about it, but you don't talk much about gravity either, and it affects you every single moment. And law of attraction is the same way. So here's this powerful law of attraction. And so you're moving through life and you know what you don't want, and you know what you do want, and you know what you do want, and you know what you don't want, and you launch these rockets of desire. And as you launch them, they become part of this vibrational reality because your inner being is there being them, being them, being them.